Shut up and sit down.
Wolfenstein. B.J. Blazkowicz, a gun-toting, lead-spraying badass who kills Nazis like I kill Diet Coke. To say that Wolfenstein isn't important to gaming history would be an outright lie. The father of the FPS genre has had a recent resurgence in the past few years, spitting out excellent titles like Wolfenstein the New Order, Wolfenstein the Old Blood, Wolfenstein 2 the New Colossus, and in July, Wolfenstein Youngblood will hit the market. All of these games are great, and Youngblood will most likely be the same. They are the epitome of what modern-day FPS games should be like. With all of that said, I do have to point out one thing that ruins the experience for me quite a bit. That is that the gameplay doesn't match the tone of the game. I can hear the pitchforks and torches being raised, so let me explain. You see, in Wolfenstein you play as the badass B.J. Blazkowicz, and you're so badass that you can kill Nazis while trapped in a wheelchair, after coming out of a coma, hell, even while you're dying from mass organ failure. BJ doesn't back down for any reason. You can dual-wield guns like a total badass, you are a one-man army that can't be stopped. The gameplay style harkens back to the old days, where it wasn't about getting through the level, but getting through as fast and collecting as many secrets as you possibly can. Your health not regenerating like in other games, but instead fighting health and armor pickups throughout the map, as well as finding any other assortment of weapons and ammo. The style being a full frontal assault with no finesse, but pure brute force. You aren't there to tickle Nazis to death, you're there to bring pain and suffering, leaving behind corpses in your wake. This tone, however, is offset by the fact that playing this way doesn't really work. You can run and gun, but you will often find yourself scavenging for armor and health mid-fight. The player who is supposed to be living up to the badass name of Blazkowicz having to hide and whimper when a tank comes along if he doesn't have the right armor, ammo, or health. Does this make sense for a freedom fighter to have to scrounge for every inch in their war? Yes. Does it work for the Wolfenstein brand? No. It doesn't work when you show Blazkowicz as an unkillable machine that could kill a horde of Nazis easily while paralyzed and trapped in a wheelchair. Honestly, this is so off-putting that I would say that Wolfenstein as a brand has lost what it means to be a Wolfenstein game. It's such a small issue in such a magnificent game, but this small kink in the hose has built up a lot of pressure, and if the games continue with this tone issue, that kink will explode. So how do you fix this? Can you fix this? They already have. Doom, just like Wolfenstein, is a father to the FPS genre, and while some would say it's had its low points, I would argue that it has always mixed up the formula just enough to say that it hasn't released a bad game yet. Doom's tone is exactly like Wolfenstein's. You play an ultimate badass killing machine in the form of Doom Guy. Doom has one major difference, and that's how the levels are structured. It's a lot more freeform in that the levels aren't tied to waiting on the story cutscenes to happen or plot beats to happen before your eyes. You enter the level, and from there you go room to room, killing demons and finding quest items like keycards, skulls, and arms.
Access granted.
That said, Doom's gameplay is almost exactly like Wolfenstein's, but with two big differences. There is no stealth option, and the glory kill system. This is the system I would say that fixes Wolfenstein's tone issue versus gameplay. In Doom, when you deal enough damage to an enemy, they will begin to glow blue or orange, or both. This will prompt the player to approach the enemy and melee them for a quick, flashy kill animation. This is great, but the true feature of this mechanic is that when you do so, depending on the color the demon flashed, you will receive rewards in the form of small amounts of health and ammo. Two invaluable commodities in Doom. The gameplay loop being that you will glory kill your way through hordes and be rewarded with health to supplement any that you lost during the fight. Not only does this make the player want to do glory kills, but it encourages the gameplay style that matches the tone of the game. Doom Guy is not going to be running around for armor and health during fights. No, he's going to beat a demon to death with his own arm and heal off of the brutality and gore. Sorry. I got caught up in watching the glory kills. Anyway, the glory kill system is arguably the smartest game design choice for games like this. It's unique, it doesn't get boring, and it rewards the player appropriately for playing that way. If you simply add the glory kill system into Wolfenstein, Suddenly playing that hyper-aggressive never back down style becomes viable in higher difficulties. Yes, Wolfenstein supplements this with a lot more armor and health pickups scattered around the level, but my point is that players should not be scavenging for health and armor mid-fight. Some enemies do drop pieces of armor on death, but the game doesn't always register you walking over those pieces, so you have to awkwardly look at the piece and press an invisible prompt to pick it up. If there is a weapon near it, the game will choose that as a priority, and make you pick up a weapon that can put you into tough situations if you don't want it, or if you're needing more armor mid-fight. You pick it up all of a sudden, and bam, you're dead because you don't get invincibility frames while you're picking it up and reloading it. Wouldn't it make more sense for the monster that is the man named BJ being up close and personal killing Nazis for auto health or armor pickups than him hiding behind objects looking for health? If you're arguing that it wouldn't make sense in the lore, I call bullshit. This is the same game series that has space Nazis, Nazi robots, Nazi robot dogs, super giant Nazi mechs, and a power suit that looks like it's a few blue lights away from being a military suit from Dead Space. The game series can't fall on the sword of realism when it's convenient for itself. Arguably, the only difference between Doomguy's enemies and BJ's enemies is a German accent and funny upper lip hair. I can only hope in the future that id Software brings the glory kill system to Wolfenstein, or even makes another newer innovation that fixes the problem with the gameplay. While I still like Wolfenstein with this issue, I will always choose Doom over Wolfenstein, because Doom is a lot more sound mechanically, with Doom Eternal looking like it will continue the trend.